trying to escape from the curses I was born to break, finding a way to overcome my fears. I am strong enough. There might be some bumpy roads ahead, but I'm equipped. I've learned some great lessons. The power lies in me. Now I see so clearly. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. It's a blessing that I've come this far. 'Cause when you feel alone, I know it can get hard. But I'm choosing gratitude, grace, love, and peace. You're always with me. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I
You are live, sir. People are rolling in.
Ha. Love that song. Love that little girl of mine. Thank you for tuning in tonight, everybody. By the way, I just noticed this. I don't know if you see it, Malachi. Laura Law from the UK asked, because the Cash App doesn't work there, how they can donate. PayPal was the way that they can, right?
Yes, it's on the website, bishoppearson.com. I'll make sure I get that posted.
I happened to see that, Laura, because you were on with the first few people. But thank you, all of you, Juanita, Laura, Mateo, Albert, Kat, Christina, Tania, Linda, Velma, Dre, how you doing? Nicole, Sheila, Donna. I can read the names more. Hello, Grace. Always good to see you.
Look at this one. I didn't know that.
Christian Ashar. Oh, today is Carmen's birthday. Yeah, today is Carmen's birthday. Oh my God. I've lost so many friends. George Vanette, one of my men I've known over 40 years, made his transition last Thursday. Carmen, Miles, Matthew Burrell, Jerome Lee, guys I've known for years that traveled with me. Hello, Velma. So many of them are gone. They're my peers, and it's just a struggle. George Vanette is the father of Melody, Destiny, and Jonathan, who's my godson. I was holding Jonathan when I met my wife, Gina, to whom George introduced me 30 years ago. So he just laid down and transitioned. He was not sick that we know of. And Tommy Todd actually found him. We will eulogize him Friday at 2 here in Tulsa. But I'm touched by that. Of course, Carmen was one of my dearest, closest friends. His birthday is today. A year ago, he turned 65 and died. He actually was being discharged from the hospital, a little hospital. He'd been wrestling with cancer for a while. And but he always thought he would go on his 65th birthday because his dad and his granddad. I couldn't stop him from saying that. He said it in January, turned 65 in January, and we lost him in February. So, or something like that. But his birthday, today, would have turned 65 a year ago. I think it was a year ago, was it too? Anyway, just time is flying. And as the old folks say, people is dying that have never died before. That's part of the life we're living and the life we're trying to survive. And I want to talk to you tonight. Thank you for tuning in. About some of the most incredible ideologies and thoughts and feelings that I had in a long, long time. So thanks for joining me. We're gonna offer principles or ways to survive, negotiate, navigate these special times of radical, critical, and pivotal change in our nation, in our world. It's a very volatile time in the sense, and it's ambiguous in that we don't know exactly with detail what's coming down the pike, except information, disclosures, revelations, brand new, fresh, powerful ideas, prophetic fulfillments, pathetic realities. A lot of it's going to converge, and it's going to be a little bit confusing. So I'm not in the consciousness, as I said in my post today, of what some call doom and gloom, but neither am I into doom and fumes. Dumb and fumes. Okay. Difference in doom and gloom and dumb and fumes. When I say fumes, I mean airy, ambiguous, and ambivalent hype about stuff that avoids the truth, replacing truth with fairy tales of the mind or ways to avoid reality. I don't act like reality doesn't exist, even though I create not only my reality, but my response to it. I create the reality that best suits my purpose on the planet. I don't ignore the other circumstances that may seem negative, volatile, and painful, but I manage them. Every week, I try to get you to manage your pain. I don't know how to convince you that it doesn't exist, because pain does exist. I don't know how to tell you how to avoid it. I am not successful at that myself. I hurt every day, all day. Love itself is like a sexually transmitted disease or dis-ease. Love has a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of stretch, a lot of anxiety in it, a lot of pathos, a lot of emotion, a lot of devotion, a lot of commotion. Anybody in love with parents, siblings, children, spouses, husbands, wives, it's costly and caustic to love. But we don't know, it's a dis-ease that all human beings inherit when we come to the planet. And it's an incurable disease, but it's not untreatable. Love is not just patient, as scripture says. Love is a patient in need of ongoing health care. You have to treat it like love, like as a disease. It needs treatment. So do we all. So I see both smoke and fire in our culture and in our country today. Yes, I see smoke, fire, and fury as part of the universal upgrading of our species as humans or as earthlings. Something is happening to the species, the human spirit and essence our chemistry, this whole idea of artificial intelligence, that we are electricity, electrolytes make us. We're power and energy, always moving and evolving. They're now finding ways of taking the human gene and putting it in computers some kind of way. That's how fast knowledge is increasing to make these robots even more human-like. So fire and fury is a sign of the resistance to the present demolition of the old trades and traditions and fads and fashions and familiarities, while a new spiritual and social paradigm is being unveiled. It's all happening at the same time. We can expect expressions of more aggressive and assertive personal and public energy in every sector of our culture and of the norm, more than normal. This aggression, this assertiveness, a bit of arrogance, a lot of ignorance, wild emotions are occurring, and just watch what happens in Washington. That's the head of this country, as deranged and mentally ill as headship in this country seems to be. With an aging president, the former president is in his 70s and wants to run again. And both men are dealing with the last century, and now they're 23 years into the new century, and they're trying to find their place. Both parties and all additional parties are doing the same thing. Religion, education, economy, politics overall, athletics, with athletes being injured. They may have to change football from the kind of contact sport that a lot of things can change. A lot of things will change. I predict that 2023 will be a kind of a watershed year when pretty much everything that can be shaken will be shaken. So only that which cannot be shaken will remain. Whatever lasts when the dust is settled will be huge, but it'll be strong, stable, solid, almost obstinate, incapable of changing because it's not supposed to change. I expect a number of shocking and sudden events to occur this year with seismic-like effect and impact on our country and on our culture and even on our consciousness. I mean, some really big, crazy discoveries and unveilings and along with that, some recoveries that are stunning. A lot of things are going to be happening at the same time. Sometimes needed to say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because both will occur simultaneously. This will be the best and the worst of times, the worst and the best of times. You choose which one of those you want to prevail in your consciousness and in your reality, because both will exist. Don't invest in stocks for a while. The market will possibly convulse wildly, as well the entire economic systems of the world, starting right here in America. It's just not going to be the same. We may end up with some kind of a cashless society. But in the meantime, hold on to what you have. Many mainstream analysts are predicting that the stocks will recover soon. But one 20-year market veteran says we'll instead witness a cash frenzy, unlike anything we've experienced in 21 years before in 21 years before the stocks recover. This particular upheaval or convulsion in stocks may not immediately change because the economic systems of the world are convulsing and evolving and dissolving. There's a new realm of the way to look at it. I'm just here this is not doom and gloom. I want you to be aware that what's coming down the pike beginning this year in a very stunning, almost staggering way. And so as long as you know that it's coming, you're not blindsided. So this gentleman says that this market veteran says we'll instead witness a cash frenzy. And he's urging Americans not to buy a single stock until we see it. Now, a lot of us aren't into stocks, but more people are involving in the stocks. My generation just coming after us and before, or just investing in crypto and Bitcoins. And there's a frenzy to get money, to gain money, to expand money, to find money, especially these get rich quick deals. I've fallen for a few of those over my years and lost a lot of money. According to Dan Ferris, this is the gentleman I'm recording, who gained a claim for predicting the Lehman Brothers crash in 2008 and calling the top of the NASDAQ in NASDAQ in 2021. This is the number one most important thing to pay attention to for 2023. What I'm talking about. And he's not talking about another market crash, politics, or inflation. He's talking about a whole shift in the economic system, the economic culture, the economic consciousness. Even people steeped in, I hear somebody, Malika, that might be your sound. As this all unfolds, the financial consequences that's going to happen, it's starting this year, 2023, could last for several decades if you don't understand what's happening. There'll be winners and losers. There always are. Now is when you decide which one you will be. And you decide by preparing for change. Dan, the man I'm recording, who has been profiled by Barron's and Bloomberg, is stepping forward with an urgent warning for the millions of Americans who aren't prepared for what's coming. I've been saying the same thing about other circumstances, not just economically, but our whole system, the world system, the human system. If our species is going to be upgraded, some things then are going to be downgraded. There's no evolution, as I've been saying, with dissolution and demolition. Things are going to be torn down. That's what, again, January 6th and these outbursts and all these militia groups gathering because they know there's a chance that things are going to change. They've been anticipating it intuitively for decades. They know somehow in their knower that change is coming and they're prepared to resist it. They're already resenting it for years. They're prepared to resist it, which means we may enter another kind of uncivil civil war. So if you have any cash on the sidelines or any money in stocks right now, this could be the most important message you'll see this year. Hold on to the cash and other assets for a while until we have a better grasp on the ambiguity and the volatility of the times that we live in. This is just simple, wise counsel. Don't be quick to jump into anything and be conscious of what you jump out of, but be prepared to divest yourself of some things, to disrobe, to change wardrobe styles or whatever, emotionally, commotionally, devotionally, in your spirit. Sometimes relationships, friendships will be adjusted to and changed. Headship, hardship, and heart shifts are going to be awkward and unsettled and unsettling this year. And there's going to be a lot of them. Headship's going to be strange and seem strange. Hardships are different than we've ever experienced them. Heart shifts. Many people's hearts will shift. It's going to feel foreign and awkward and clumsy for a while. There's going to be unsettled and unsettling experiences. Stay focused and centered within your own soul. See and not see, hear and not hear, believe and don't believe as infinite reality. A spirit of impermanence is going to prevail. So spirit, at least temporarily, you're going to feel this. Some people call it insecurity, but it's an impermanent thing. The dust won't settle quickly because the eruptions will shoot so high into the air and atmosphere that everything will seem contaminated. Everything will seem impure and unsafe while the universe continues to clean, clear, and correct itself. I'm only warning you because I want you to be prepared to not only survive, but strive and thrive in the midst of it to maintain your sobriety, your sanity, and a healthy spirit. Now, the worst loss in American wars is the Civil War. I alluded to it earlier. We're in one now, directly and indirectly, not quite physically with guns, but that may occur. The original Civil War was April 12th, 1961 to April 9th, 1865. It's like 4 or 5 years, where more Americans died than all of the other wars that I've said before combined, including the Revolutionary War. The worst war ever fought by Americans were fought on Americans and with Americans. The only war fought on our soil was one we created, and we're very close to it now. It was fought between the Union and the Confederacy, the latter formed by states that had succeeded based on slavery or anti-abolitionist positions. That's the worst war. It had to do with racism. What led to this outbreak of the bloodiest conflict in the history of North America was the moral issue of slavery, the economics of slavery, the political control of the ultra-right. They're screaming right now. Most Christians dominate the system of the ultra-right wings, and the societal news and rights and human and inhumane labor laws that are out there. That happened then, it's happening now. We're repeating history in that sense. The Civil War, which is the costliest and deadliest war ever fought on American soil, with some 260,000 Americans of 2.4 million soldiers killed. 620 of the 2.4 million were killed. And millions more were injured and maimed for life, and left much of the South devastated and in ruin for decades. Some of that ruin emotionally is still there. People have not gotten over that they lost the Civil War, and they're trying to maintain to the statues and emblems that suggested that it occurred. Now, the critical history theory, they want to remember the Civil War veterans, they want to remember the Confederate leaders, but they don't want to remember slavery and slave trade and the hideous things that happened with the Semites in Germany. So the Civil War both ruptured and injured our country, its psyche, its consciousness, some 150 years ago. And we continue to suffer from various levels of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from the Civil War and the civilians that are at war right now. It has us mentally unstable, as I often use the term psychotic, out of touch with external realities. It was approximately 100 years after the Civil War that the civil rights movement began. It marked the new chapter in American history, causing the 13th Amendment, passed in January of 1865, to be officially implemented. The abolishment of legalized slavery. The abolishment of legalized slavery in the United States, that's our puppy Cash, with the end of the war, freeing some 4 million African Americans, something still not completely realized. But the official gesture and juncture occurred. By the spring of 1865, all the principal Confederate armies surrendered, and when the Union cavalry captured the fleeing Confederate President Trump, President Jefferson Davis in Georgia, May 10th, resistance collapsed and the war ended. There's always a man or men, leaders who are corrupt, that take millions of innocent people and make them suffer. They have millions of people who are gullible to them and follow their lead, as we have in this country, people following Trump. Hitler had them, Stalin had them, Lenin had them. The communist leaders of the world, the Pol Pots and what have you, in Asia and around the world, there's always one man or men, very seldom women, but one man or men who lead millions to their death and to suffering. We keep allowing it to happen. That's about to shift to where we won't allow these kinds of corrupt individuals to dominate in leadership or be involved in leadership again. Starting right here in America with the Donald Trump type people. He wasn't a totally bad president, but he's the worst we've had in American history. There were some good things, as there's some good things about every party, every president, every position. But rat poison is 90% good corn. It's the 10% strychnine that makes it lethal. There's a lot of death in our consciousness, in our culture right now. So the real work began after the resistance collapsed and the war ended. That's when the real work of reconciliation, reconstruction began. That work remains a challenge in this nation to this day, nearly 200 years hence. We're still doing reconstruction. We're still reconciling because those energies are still present, prevailing at different levels across the culture and across the continent. Now, how do we heal this? First of all, we remember esoterically, as Eric Nielsen wrote, there's actually only one moment in one place. I shared part of this last week. I want to share it again. Everything exists now and everything is here. Everything. Front, past, present, and future. It's all existing now. The structure of everything, good, bad, and ugly, already exists, always has, and always will. But our perspective, remember, I'm telling you again, our perspective and experience of these realities must be based on choice. So start making some decisions. Be intentional. Start preparing to decide. Preparing for the forks in the road. That there's a curve. A curve is not the end of the road unless you refuse to turn. You know, we're being forced to turn. Sometimes turn around. Sometimes just turn a curve or an edge. Lean to the left or right. We must be aware of this. We must develop new attitudes, new perceptions, new perspectives, and revised impressions internally and intentionally. Again, we choose to live in the now moment and the now momentum as though it has never happened before. Make it fresh, because now, yesterday, and tomorrow, yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery. All we have is now, but now was just here a couple seconds ago. Now keeps moving. Now is always moving, and yet now never moves. It just is. So again, a kind of deja vu. Everything is here and now, but in various states of visibility and invisibility, depending on the frequency that you're operating on. And that means a belief system or systems that define you and that you believe in most strongly. Now, we need spiritual guides and guardians, and they're coming. We're actually calling them into existence and into our reality as we speak. They're supposed to be here. We need them. We want them, and our consciousness is calling them in. The strained and strenuous path or passage or passing is making us look outside of ourselves and inside of ourselves at the same time. We rarely do that awareingly or consciously or deliberately. We're being forced to look inside and outside, to be interior and external at the same time. The views and visions are not the same, though sometimes similar, sometimes hugely contrasting each other. That's when you feel crazy, because inwardly you see, sense, and are saying something to yourself differently than externally what you see with the senses, eyes and hear and taste, touch, feel and smell, hear and smell. And it's very different, almost violently different. Then you decide which reality you embrace. And that's the one that is the one you help create inwardly. It doesn't change anything externally, but it changes how you respond and or experience the external based on what is gold and golden and good and God inside you or as you. Many of the strong social and even spiritual pillars and pillows that we've known or that were left over from the last century will transition out of this earth realm this year, and newer leaders and leadership will slowly appear. But they won't necessarily be or even look like what the last group did or looked like. Leadership and fellowship will look, sound, and feel differently or different. Those who refuse to repent, which means to rethink, rather than repeat, will be replaced. Those who refuse to repent, rethink, who want to repeat, will be replaced before we will repair as a species. And we will repair. But those who want to repeat rather than repent will be replaced. Systems, people, ideologies, ideas, individuals, collectives tribal groups, parties, countries, cultures. Everything is going to be forced to change. The universe itself wants change and is brokering it, is building it, is being it. And I know it. And any sensitive person who's awakened knows this. I'm almost finished. Senses it, feels it, experiences it, and expresses it. You notice how awkward you feel with some friends and they feel awkward around you. You don't even know why. It's because you're going through an emotional, chemical, cellular, solar change. Not one that you invited or invented, but you can't prevent it because the universe has a plan and we're all in it. So fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be a wild ride, both fun and frightening to most. What I like about roller coasters is that there's a zeal and a thrill, and there's this adulation that goes along with it, but there's this almost terrifying swoop up and down and around. I've always liked the wild rides like that. They're scary and they're dangerous, actually. There's peril to it. There's risk, sometimes recklessness to it. I know all that. I think it's more responsible to take risks, but it's irresponsible many times to be reckless. But we tend to do both, to be both. Especially if you're that kind of external person that likes excitement and intrigue with adventure. And sometimes you do stupid stuff. I've done some dumb things in my life, but at least I knew it. Sometimes I knew it while I was doing it and suffered the consequences. Sometimes it was a risk. So pay attention to what's happening, but don't allow tension to rob you of courage and positive expectation. Be aware of what's happening. Just stay anchored and centered and focused. That's important. Stay anchored, centered, and focused. Stay anchored, centered, and focused. Sometimes that does mean to sit down quietly and collect your thoughts and sort through them because they can be diverse. There's always hot and cold. They define or at least describe each other. They help define each other. There's always noise and silence, or sound and silence. They both exist. Sometimes silence can be rather noisy. That's why some people don't like silence. They got to have sound or music or television or talking. They just get, silence has a voice. And the word voice in Greek is the word phone, P-H-O-N-E with like a hyphen or apostrophe. And we get our English word phonics or phonetics from that. So a voice is a nuance. It's an ambiance. It's an atmospheric vibration and an energy. And it's not always verbal. And it's not always externally audible. But it is internally heard and felt, experienced, and sometimes expressed. Sometimes you'll say things to yourself that you're not supposed to ever say aloud to anyone else about anything else. You have to have these long, sometimes drawn out, intimate, personal, and powerful, prophetic, and sometimes pathetic conversations with yourself. I hope you're listening to me tonight. Talk to yourself. Talk through yourself. And it's okay to actually talk about yourself. Interrogate, excavate, investigate yourself, your soul. You're magnificent. There's so much inside of you. Everything you need and want, you already are. You came here completely equipped. Experiences help amplify and magnify what you know. As you've heard me say before, I think we all come from some pre-incarnate reality. We come here knowing. And then between the womb and the tomb, we forget what we know and start believing what we're told. And that's when we get off course. That's when it gets confusing. The whole time that you're here, with all the other noise around you and nausea around you, listen for the sound of the soul. Listen for the vibrations and the syncopations of spirit. You have a mind, you have a body, but you are spirit, not a spirit, just spirit like air. Breath, pneuma in Greek, or from the word pneuma, which is the word for the lungs. We get the word pneumonia from that. Pneumatic. Pneuma. Spirit. Breath. When Jesus gave up the ghost, it wasn't taken from him. He released his spirit, his essence, his energy from the entrapment of the physical body and went to his next iteration, his next dimension, his next experience and expression of self and soul and being. We all do that, not only in the final death, but through various deaths and resurrections of life. We're going through a dying and a living right now. There's MOURNING, morning, which leads to MORNING, new beginning, another morning, a new dawning, a fresh day in a fresh way. So I'm emphasizing it this time because I think the universe has a plan. The universe is a plan, and we're all in it. We're all part and parcels, participants in it. You got me? So listen to this again and read it again. Some of what I've said is not written on the post, but in journal, and pass this on. Hit like and subscribe, please. And I keep forgetting to tell you, I need you to do it, those of you who have never done it, because that helps our numbers on the on the internet, Facebook or whatever. We need to keep it up there, Malachi. Please like and subscribe throughout the whole program so people can do that. And remember to do it, and then share. Please share these messages. I try to keep them short. I'm going to close now. It's been a little less than around 30 minutes. So we can, you can do some other things with your night. But I want you to be constantly aware of the value, the virtue, and the valor of being truthful, confronting truth, confronting yourself. As I said, have some long, drawn out, intimate conversations with you. Don't ignore your ramblings. Don't ignore the dreams. Let me close with this scripture that says, be careful entertaining strangers, or be careful to entertain strangers, because some have entertained angels unaware. Angels are not just messengers, they're messages. Some have entertained strange, not just people, but experiences, thoughts, ideas, strange conversations, strange dreams, strange concepts, a strange story, a strange film, a strange movie, a strange novel. Meet some strangers. Pause and talk to them. When the scripture says be careful entertaining, it means to host rather than being hostile toward. Be hospitable toward, not hostile toward strange things. These are strange times. There are strange tunes and strange intonations out there. Pay attention. Don't create tension, and don't be tense about it. Just be attentive to, study, even the secrets, strange feelings you have about whatever. Study not just the feeling, study that which is strange about the feeling. Why is it strange, foreign, alien, hetero? Homo means same, hetero means foreign or different. Not necessarily opposite, just different. So some of the things you think are opposing you aren't opposing you. This is different. It's a different perspective. Study some of it. Get out of your rut and your routines and experience a refreshing you, or the refreshment of the self, refreshment of the soul, refreshment of the psyche, refreshment of the spirit. When I speak of your essence, I'm talking about the permanent rather than the accidental you. There's a part of you that has always been, will always be, and has always been, and is now. That's the part of you that's infinite, without a finish, without an end, non-definable. All right, I could go all night. You know I am with words. I love you. I believe in you. I respect you or highly regard you. I thank you for being adventurous enough, courageous enough to listen to Carlson Pearson. A lot of people are afraid of them, but more are tuning in and turning on to what I'm saying. Some of my closest, best friends don't listen to these lectures on Tuesday night. They're around me all the time. They're not as interested. Sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. But they agree with it. They just haven't heard the latest. And when they do, they like it. Many of you are new for the first time. Many of you are regulars, and you just absorb this every week, and it adds life to your soul, to your spirit. And I'm glad that it does that. I'm going to close with Madge's song one more time. And Malachi, let's just put some comments up on or questions if there are any on the screen. And because we're ahead of time as far as being long. And George Vinette's memorial service, by the way, his funeral is Friday at 2 at Greater Union Baptist Church on the north side. The viewing is Thursday from 5 to 7. And I've already spoken to the family. I'm going to be eulogizing him that day. And the family's going to come by my house and hang with me a little bit this week. And I'm going to feed them and just love on them. They're the sweetest kids. And there are a lot of out-of-town guests, of course, coming. And but I've lost a lot of special loved ones. And I think you should all be. Hello, Patty. Hello, Eric. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you're here. Thank you. Pamela, always precious to have you. Good evening to you as well. Christina, how you doing? Petty Congress. Yeah, it's very vindictive, childish, sophomoric. These Republicans, I used to be when I've never seen them so childish. It's like they've been brainwashed, and they've become very different than the party that I was participating in. Not completely different, for 20 years. Hello, Mitty. Good evening back at you. The Cash App is New Dimensions 2. The PayPal, we need to put that up there too, Malachi. And the mailing address, for the very few people put anything in the mail anymore. Sometimes people do. That would be 6283 South Harvard Avenue, Suite 515. Thank you, Pickett. We're doing the best we can. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74137 for those who mail, but it's easier if you do the Cash App. And thank you so much for those of you who will do it tonight. Some people don't value what I'm saying at all, but if you really pay attention to it, and if you go back to the years prior, each December and January of every year, I share with you what I intuitively feel it's going to occur that year. There's going to be a lot of final transitions of some of the loudest, most sublime voices in the civil rights movement of the past, the human rights movement of the past, the pillars and pillows that we've laid our heads on, the breast and bosoms of those who have weathered tough storms. They're going to be taken. Could be your grandparent, could be my own mother, could be the great Jesse Jacksons. I spent some time with him in Chicago the other day. He's 78, I think. My friend George, who just transitioned, was 79. He didn't seem like it. He was very youthful. Jesse sounded good, looked good. You know, he could be here many years, but men like him, some of those that still live in, Andrew Young and people like that have weathered the storms. We're glad we still have them. We don't know how much longer we will have them. So celebrate them now. Send offerings or gifts to their organization. Send something to Rainbow Push in Chicago. Text it in. Say, in honor of Jesse Jackson. Just do that. And respect him as an entity. I send money. I've given thousands toward their organization over the years. I've spent as much time with Jesse as I could over the years because I love him and respect him. He's made a lot of enemies, but he also has lots of friends. All my friends have enemies, and some of my friends are enemies. But I cherish them. I cherish their essence in the earth, including my enemies. They have a reason to exist. Somehow they have permission to exist. They don't just stress me. They stretch me. I salute them. I I welcome them. I reverence them, to be honest with you. That's how I've gotten along all these years with the kinds of things that a so-called enemy can perpetrate against you. You turn it into something constructive, even if they mean it to be destructive. It can be instructive and constructive. Everything in life can be that, has the capacity and propensity. You make that choice yourself. All right. Never mind dragging on. Love you. Peace and blessing to all of you.
Give this lady some words.
I'm a single mother of two, going through so much. I need someone to talk to. I feel like ending it all. I will first say, sweetheart, that when things seem like they're falling apart, that's generally the sign that they're really falling into place. Don't react. Fear is a reaction. Faith is an action. There are millions of single mothers with children. I have many children and nobody helping, not a mother-in-law, not a grandmother, not an aunt, a sister. And it can be overwhelming. I'm sensitive to that. I'm very aware of it. I've been playing Mr. Mom in my house for several years, so I know what washing, cooking, and I make a decent earning, and I have always in life because I go out and speak. I have some royalty checks that come in, but I've also had times when I've literally laid on my face and bawled like a baby because I didn't have the money. You can make a lot of money and still not have much because your cost of living is high. So I know what it is to feel hopeless. And it's okay to feel hopeless sometimes, baby, but you aren't hopeless, Ashley. You really aren't. You're not helpless. In fact, you have faith enough to request assistance, to say not only to friends, but to the universe, I need some help. And watch how it begins to come in. Not always financial help, though we can all use it. It's emotional health. Get somewhere, find a place to listen, just a few minutes a day. Listen to yourself and remove the negative thoughts and verbiage. Get past the nausea and the noise to the clear sound, which is the Greek word echoes, where we get the English word echo. It's a sound out of the past. There's something you heard as a child that will help you as an adult. There's something you heard as an infant or as an elementary school age child, maybe even a teenager, junior. Some words have been spoken to and sometimes through you or over you that will help you right now. Listen to me, Ashley. It gets better. It gets better. I cried one time in front of my baby daughter when we were living in Chicago, and it was really rough. My wife didn't see it. My son didn't see it. Majesty was there. And the last thing I wanted to do as a man and father is to cry in front of because I never show signs of weaknesses with my children. My dad didn't either. He dealt with his own privately. He went through some hell. I call it shift, SHIFT. But you may spell it differently with what you're going through. It's okay. Turn it into fertilizer and grow. Let it be fertilizer and grow, precious. And you will. We really, really care. You're going to do good. And don't just count your bruisings. Count your blessings. Counting the bruisings are very discouraging, very disillusioning. Count the blessings. And when you really count them, you realize that they pretty much outnumber the bruisings, or they will. That's a promise. Stay with us, Ashley. Text, email, whatever. We'll walk with it through you. Okay, babe? Peace, love.
Yes. I'm sure there are many other people that possibly may be on here also, and they have probably experienced that, and so they see it here on the post. They see it here on the chat.
Ashley, put your Cash App up there. Maybe some of us will send something. Any of you want to bless Ashley? She didn't ask for money, but if she's a single mother with two children, she could use $10 or $25.
Yeah, she can post it to me. Yeah.
If you post it, Ashley will put it up. And who knows? I don't have to know what you give or even that you give, but if you give, she'll know it, and that's important. didn't have to be a lot. No gift is too small. And of course, none is too large. Anybody knows her. Again, she didn't ask for money. She said, I'm hurting, which means I need. I've got money in the bank. But if you send me $10, I sure would appreciate it, or $20 or $100 or $1,000. I'm always giving money, paying people's groceries and paying their rent and making car notes for them and sending them something to buy gas. And, I do that constantly all the time. A lot of it out of this particular Cash App, because it's the only Cash App I have. I have to pay bills out of that as well, bills for what I do, but I always reserve some for people who are hurting. But in this situation with Ashley, do something. Praying with you, Ashley, somebody said, Tanabe, maybe he can't pay anything, but he can pray. Everybody can pray. Some of you can actually pay. You may have been planning to send it to me and say, this week I'm going to send it to her. But remember me next week. But do what you need to do, okay? All righty. Thank you, Mitty, for praying for her. That's good. Now, that's not just words. We're actually sending up positive energy into the universe by faith. The universe honors our prayers, our collective prayers. Let's believe that something will happen this week. This is only Tuesday. Certainly this month, but this week for Ashley, toward Ashley, to Ashley, and even through Ashley, that will literally change her attitude, her life, and her light, make it brighter and more brilliant. Ashley, you'll come back on soon and tell us that there's a big, Sharia said, don't give up, seek help, pray and cry out to God. There are plenty of resources for you. That's beautiful. You're all so kind. Thank you for the kind things you're saying to Ashley. She probably didn't want us to put it up for everybody to see, but Ashley, we love you and you're on here and we know that you're here. Okay, I wish there's more time for you to counsel us, especially here in Tulsa. You're hitting it on the head. I speak twice a month at the All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. Some people are let the term really scare them. And once scared me. I used to demonize Unitarian Universalists. Some of my dearest friends, some of my most generous supporters have been over the years the Unitarian Universalist friends I have around the country, particularly here in Tulsa. Marlon Lavinoff, the senior minister of that church. They're just great. So I speak twice a month. Whenever you hear my name, come on in. And we do counsel, and we do 2 services there on Sundays. But we may do something other. Malachi and I have been talking about maybe a monthly gathering downtown. I love the old Jazz Hall of Fame, and I know the owner.
Yeah, they're remodeling it now, but I think we should just go ahead and schedule something. We're in January, but I think before this month's over, we just need to impromptu put something together. I've got a place, probably like I have different friends that own places, from Justin's restaurant, Justin Thompson, or Chimera. I can get us a place, and we just need to do an impromptu, get everybody out, because people at this moment in time, some people just need to hear a good word. I mean, they just need the attention and hear a good word to help move them along. Because Ashley has responded, and here I got her Cash App. I wanted to do that. She's responded. I don't think she really. I don't think she expected what's happening right now. So
I don't see the Cash App. Is it up? Are you putting it up?
I'm posting it right now.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, she did not expect what just happened. And I think it's
remember, folks, a single mother with 2 kids. She didn't say the age. She has rent, utilities, same thing.
Well, yeah, they're babies. I mean, she's a single mother, and she has babies, and
if she has a car, she needs gas. If she needs help.
I have 3 kids myself, and me and my wife are both professionals with master's degrees, and I can't imagine just footing it and doing everything on your own like that when we struggle in terms of just with all the stuff we have to do. So I'm pushing my Cash App to her right now.
Make sure you text that to me. I was going to take a picture with it, but
yeah, it's right there on the screen.
Tanetta Rowley, $ Tanetta Rowley, ROWLEY. If you're listening to this audio and not seeing it, $ TANETTA, capital TANETTA, capital ROWLEY, $ Tanetta Rowley.
I'll get it on Instagram.
Yeah, we don't do this every time, but I feel it tonight that we should help her, and she's precious and pressured. But let's lift some of the pressure off of her tonight, okay? All right, then. I love y'all. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for your time, your attention, of course, your treasures, and your consciousness. We have something again next Tuesday. We'll let you local Tulsa people know. Probably
Yes.
in the early spring, we'll have something just for us. I'd love to meet you personally and sit together, some nice music, and we'll spend an hour and a half or two together, okay? Maybe we'll do it monthly. I think that will be wonderful. Like on a Friday night or maybe a Sunday night, something like that. But we'll work it out, okay? Sometimes we'll have special guests like a Michael Beckwith, who's a very close friend of mine. Or I'll bring Jonathan in, or DE from Atlanta. These guys have been my sons in Expanded Consciousness for a long time. To chat every once in a while, we'll have a guest. But okay, well, we love you. Time to go. It's almost an hour. We never like to go over an hour. I'm strong. Ashley, you're strong.
But I'm equipped. I've learned some great lessons. The power lies in me. Now I see so clearly. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. It's a blessing that I've come this far. 'Cause when you feel alone, I know it can get hard. But I'm choosing gratitude, grace, love, and peace. You're always with me. All my steps are destined. I'm going in the right direction. Gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see you're my best friend. Yes, I finally found my peace. I know that I can trust in me. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only
Go to Majesty
Woo!
or look her name up, and you can download that song, actually, if you like it as much as I do. I give it on my phone. I play it in my car, not just because she's my daughter, but the lyrics she wrote and the sound is from her soul, and it's just beautiful. All right. I love you all. Thanks for this wonderful evening. I just saw somebody gave $25 to Ashley. Wow. That really touches me. Say, who did that? I just saw it here.
Yes, I sent 20. I won't. A lot of people are, I believe, donating and giving to her. She said she. Why are you guys so nice to me? God, she's just boo-hooing.
I'm going to do something too as soon as I get. Well, bless you, Ashley. The people love you, and
She says she doesn't deserve anything. That's the issue. Your really biggest problem is
you do deserve. You got to change your attitude about money, sweetheart. Money loves you, and it's okay for you to love money. You deserve it. You're a mother. You're responsible. You're a human being. You deserve a lot more and a lot better, and it's going to get better for you, and you're going to get a lot more. Stay open.
You take some of that money, and I'm not sure if someone's there to watch your kids or anything like that, but you take some of that and you go do something for you. Just for you.
Just for you.
Yes, do it just for you, and just have moments of clarity, moments of just feeling good in that moment. I promise you it will get better.
Yeah, Kat, thank you, Cherie. Cherie sent 25. That's beautiful. Oh, Cherie, thank you. And the gentleman, I'm trying to see if it was a guy that sent 25 earlier. It's just anyway. I'm not announcing everybody's guess, but some people are saying y'all can carry on conversations afterward.
Right there it is.
I
want if people see that they've done that, this is it. It just could have been, like you said, it could be a simple bill, a gas bill, a light bill. I got bills.
The name of that song is free.
Time never runs out. We will do an official release. I'm not sure if she's completed with everything that you guys getting a preview, if I'm not mistaken.
She's done several. This is downloadable, but next week I'll have her picture and the name and how you can access it. I should have done it back then.
It's okay. We'll get it.
But just look up Majesty Pearson, Majeste 'E Pearson. Majesty Amor is her name. Pearson.
Here's Jessica. Jessica's always there. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Jessica.
Precious. If you Google her, you'll see her on The Four. You'll see a lot of other stuff she's done that you'll enjoy. But if you never heard her sing, go to The Four when she wins on P. Diddy's show. That's interesting, and she's got a lot of other things coming. All right, I'm got to go chewing. I'm making a big, huge gumbo for the Vanette family. That's what they want, and I love cooking. So after the viewing, we're going to have it for them so they can enjoy. My gumbo has a special anointing on it. I started collecting food. See, I take my smoked turkey and I boil it, and I keep that broth in that smoked turkey broth. Then I make the roux, and I pour that over the roux, and then put my chicken wings and sausage and shrimp and all that stuff. I'm not eating meat for the first 21 days. I'm not eating this month. We're on the Daniel's fast, but I can cook it and prepare it for these precious people who are coming, because that's what they need. That's what they want. Melody and Destiny and Jonathan is the baby. He's my godson. I was literally holding him, as I said, when I met my wife, Gina. And so that family is very proud. George's mother, Ma Flossie, she lived well into her 90s. Spent a lot of time with her and him and them, and they introduced me. He introduced me to the Todds, and their son, Michael Todd, pastors the Transformation Church. He grew up in Higher D, and all his other 4 brothers. Brentom is his brother, is my godson. So we really are closely connected. Bishop McIntosh, who appointed him, saw his gifts, was my college roommate for 3.5 years. I've known him for 52 years. We're still very close friends. So there's a thread that runs us all together in the most beautiful way that only God could divinely synchronistically put us all together. Ain't that beautiful? I know it is. Okay, good night, everybody. Peace and love to you all.
Yes, and Ashley said it is flowing. I believe it's flowing in to Ashley. We appreciate you guys. She's in tears and just she doesn't know what to do herself, and part of it is because she feels like she doesn't deserve it. And if anybody's out there, man, you got to learn to love yourself, and you deserve it. You deserve it.
Just say thank you, God,
Yes.
thank you, people, thank you, godly people, these precious folks. Evidently, they didn't give them more than they give me every week. What's the matter with you? That's what
Well,
I want to happen, because we
but
don't get that. So I want her to be overwhelmed. And remember, if some of you who can't give now, remember that Cash App, and you may fill it next week or two days from now. Okay. Somebody, Jessica said, you deserve it. Jessica said that to you, Ashley. Norma Blakely said, you deserve it. And they deserve it. Norma does. And all these people talking deserve it. And they're going to get it. You don't always reap where you sow, but you, without question, will reap what you sow. I've known that experientially thousands of times. My mom and dad taught it to us. Their mom and dad believed it. So we believe it and it works. As long as the earth remains, scripture says there'll be seed time and sowing and reaping time. So let's do it. All right, I got to go. Peace and love to all of you. Peace and blessing. Thank you. You're in charge to turn it off, Malachi. You know how to do that.
yes. All right.
To a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected to a source that never runs out. I am connected to a love that never runs out. I am connected. I gotta keep believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see your love is free. As I'm finally found my peace, I know that I can trust in me. Believing in myself. Gotta keep going, don't give up. Yes, I'm gonna see this through. Yeah, I put my trust in you. The only way out is to go within. Now I see your love is free. As I'm finally found my peace, I know that I can trust in me.
Ha.